Thanks so much, Pastor Marley. Good morning, everybody. Morning. Good morning. Before I turn it over to Merritt, I just want to do a few housekeeping things. First of all, let me just take a minute because that was just very moving, and we're going to hear more from Merritt, and I'm a little bit overwhelmed, so bear with me. Just in terms of some housekeeping stuff, we're in week 4 of our Restore Our Roots Stewardship campaign. We have had over 60 pledges online on the ccpc.gives. Thank you, everyone who at home or in the pews who have made their pledge today, and I hope you, if you haven't, I hope you decide to do it in the near future. Last week, as some of you know, and I'm so glad that a lot of you have grabbed this T-shirt. This T-shirt, I think I said in a note yesterday, is not, you don't get the T-shirt if you give. You get the T-shirt because you're here. And so please, if you don't have, you haven't got your own T-shirt, please come to us. We have them in the church. Molly's wearing it. My friend Fred is wearing one in the back. He looks great. So please get your T-shirt. And we also have an online form for our friends on Zoom to fill out. And so we will bring the T-shirt to you. I will personally bring it to you. Maybe that's a deterrent, but I will. So we have that. Another thing we've got in your pews, and it was outside, if everyone's got this, we have our Restore Our Roots pledge card, and it's just a reinforcement of a lot of things that we've said already. Olivia on the team did a great, beautiful job with this. We'll be collecting these pledge cards when you fill it out, but specifically in 2 weeks, when we end our campaign, we hope you decide to just even acknowledge that if you've ever made a pledge online, it'd be great. These pledge cards it'd be great for you to fill out and put it in the pew. Okay, great. And then today at 12 o'clock, it's an outgrowth of questions that we've had for many of you around our church finances to make a connection, and it's an important connection to understand what this pledging for 2022 mean in the context of the financial health of our church. And so at 12 o'clock, Pastor Molly, Ken Bean are going to be discussing our church finances, and I hope you will be able to tune in online. With that said, I want to turn it over to Merritt. As everyone knows so far, that each week we're trying to take a look at one of the roots in our campaign that Pastor Molly has given an entire overview of the hands-on mission roots. But we also want to highlight a congregant who has played such a central role in the nurturing and the growth of that root, and that's Merritt. Merritt, please.
Thank you. So I just wanted to highlight something that Molly mentioned in her sermon, which is the personal nature of a congregation being involved in this kind of work with refugees, immigrants, whatever term you want to use. Nonprofits can fill gaps and can help people in transactional ways, but when each one of you gets involved in those people's lives, it makes a profound difference. And even going down the stairs and filling a backpack for someone who's arrived at the border after walking thousands of miles, they arrive with nothing, that makes a huge difference for that person. But I wanted to back up a little bit, sorry, and just tell you a little bit about how the recent work with refugee resettlement got started at CCPC. Back in 2015, I was talking to Armin's mom on the phone, and she was telling me that they had a lot of Syrian families coming into their town. They live in a pretty small to average sized town in Germany. And she was saying, I see these people, they're getting help, getting in school, they're getting help learning German, but no one's just talking to them and becoming friends with them and having just a normal relationship with them. So I decided to invite some of them over to my house for tea. And I thought, that's such a great idea. Why can't we do that here in Washington? There must be communities of people who are sort of isolated in that way here too. So I called CCPC and I said, hey, you guys have an Arabic language congregation. You must know, how to get in touch with Syrian families here in Washington. And they didn't. But that was how the Refugee Resettlement Task Force, the modern one, was formed. I was partnered with Susan Price and Nikki Heidepriam, and we just started researching how to get involved in our area, and that led to CCPC, CCPC's help of an Afghan family in late 2015. That family had a medical emergency, and they had a child that experienced some serious medical problems. But because of CCPC, they were able to come to Maryland. They were able to get the support that they needed. And this was my first experience, working with a committee at CCPC. And I was sort of talking to the resettlement agency caseworker, and she said, "We've never had a case like this. I don't know what to do. This Afghan family's coming. We need to get in touch with some medical help. I don't know who to call." And I reached out to the congregation, and about an hour later, I had a doctor from Holy Cross Hospital call and say, "So how many Afghans are arriving?" And it was, it was one family. So that just speaks to how much difference each person in this congregation can make in the life of one family or in many families. And I know I only have a couple minutes, but I just wanted to say this, backing the backpacks downstairs, that is part of a larger effort that the Refugee Resettlement Task Force is going into. We're trying to have ways for every single person to be involved, or every person who wants to be involved, on basically a monthly basis. So we're doing the backpacks for arriving asylum seekers. We set up the apartment a couple months ago, and before that we did back to school support of uniforms and backpacks for local refugee children. So we're gonna take a little pause, but then in January we'll be doing more things again. And these are really things to get everyone engaged, like longtime members, new members, people in the community, just anyone who's interested in helping. And I look forward to meeting many of you. I hope you all get involved. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Merritt. And one of the things that's so wonderful with that, I just jotted this down. There's a verse that Pastor Molly shared with me about our hands-on mission, building off of what we just shared about Matthew, but it's Psalms 82:3. Defend the weak and fatherless, uphold the cause of the poor and oppressed. What Merritt shared is that upholding the cause of the poor and the oppressed. And it reminded me of one of my favorite sermons of Pastor Molly's is around the Good Samaritan, which often gets cited when we talk about the hands-on mission work and our social justice work. One of the things that Pastor Molly, if those of you remember, has said is that we get the story wrong. We think we're the Samaritan. We're the guy in the ditch. And the work of this church, the work of Merritt, people like Merritt, Susan Price, and others through our hands-on mission, we're helping each other. We're doing as much and receiving as much as what we're giving to others. And when Christ is calling us, and we're answering the call, by giving to this church through this campaign, what more can we do? How can we grow? How can there be more people and that we can serve and answer that call? How many more people in these pews can do more with backpacks, can do more with others, with the next set of refugees, the next people are temporarily displaced? And so as we reflect on these words and reflect on this campaign, I hope you decide to give to our church for this campaign.